Well, I was sitting in a lounge and we heard this really loud thud coming from outside the lounge area, and we went to the window and looked down, and one of the passengers with me, as we looked down to the side, we saw a military guy with a machine gun, and he was firing off his machine gun. There's a series of more thuds and explosions and a lot more machine gun fire. And we moved back away from the window and down into the airport. And when we got down onto the main concourse of the airport, which is the area where people come in from the street, there's a large group of people running from the street, and there'd been more machine gun fire that they'd been running away from.
Was there any warning that this was happening, any sign of aircraft in the sky that you were aware of?
Not that we were aware of, no. I mean, when I looked into the sky when this happened, I saw it looked like fireworks going off, but I wasn't aware there was any aircraft involved, and I wasn't really aware of how the whole attack had worked until we heard reports afterwards.
Obviously, a very frightening experience for people in the airport not knowing what was happening, but what's the feeling within the country or the capital as far as you're aware? Is there a sense that there is going to be an escalation of violence?
I think there's a real concern about it. I think over the last period of time, really from the tsunami onwards, there's a peace process which gave people a lot of confidence before the tsunami, and that has sort of progressively deteriorated over the last period. And certainly when we've been here over Christmas and New Year, there's been a bit of a real concern. There's been a lot of action by the government troops up in the northeast, and people have been really waiting for a response from the LTTE. And so when this happened this evening, certainly over the last couple of weeks, people have been saying they are concerned that something was going to happen. And so I don't think this action is a surprise to the people of Sri Lanka, but I'd also say that there's an enormous feeling across the country of wishing for peace. And we organised a peace concert here about 6 or 7 weeks ago that was very well attended, and it was broadcast across the island. And I'd certainly say that the people in general are quite desperate for peace, but there are clearly, really major underlying problems in between the government and the LTTE.